Hello there, friends. It is Jimmy Maverick, and today we are going to do a mock draft on NFL.com on their platform. We're going to do a standard points draft, and I am picking first in a 12-team league. And we are going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help us pick teams. Now, you can access my app through my website, ffmaverick.com. I invite you to go there today, sign up for a free account, and when you get the free account, you can actually access the standard points list and try it out. So, if you like it, I encourage you to subscribe. I'm going to show you how easy it is. So, basically, we're going to answer 3 questions when we go into my app. And the first question is, how does the league score points? We're going to click on standard points. Then it's going to ask, do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say yes. And then we're going to want to enter draft mode. So in order to enter draft mode, we have to put in the size of the league, which I already said is 12. And just give it a second to pop in here and populate. There we go. And we are picking first, so it's already up there. So let's go ahead. We'll enter draft mode. Now, you will see here, this is the list of players right here. These are the position filters, so if you want to look at a specific position, you would do so that way. And the columns I really want you to pay attention to on the list are the value columns, the value rank. This is a calculated number. It's based off of the projected points times the league scoring setting. It assigns a rank to that player, and you can compare that value number against their draft position to see if they are a good choice or a bad choice, okay? The next column we're going to look at is Outlook, which is also a calculated column. Each player has both positive and negative criteria about them. I call them intangibles. Oh, look. Draft begins in 7 seconds. We're going to take our first pick. I'm going to go with Todd Gurley as my first pick. He is a great choice. He's the #1 value player in standard points leagues. So I'm going to take advantage of that, and we will go ahead and start the thing off with Gurley. So very happy with that. Now we have some time before our next pick. So the Outlook ranking, as I said, is criteria. Positive criteria add stars. Negative criteria subtract stars. If they have more positive criteria than negative criteria, they get a better score. We want 4- and 5-star players as much as possible, although I will consider 3-star players. I do want to stay away from 1- and 2-star players, though. All right. Over on the end, we have consistency and reliability. Consistency is a measure of how consistent their usage is on a week-to-week basis. And it's on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is best. So we want as high a score as possible. And likewise, reliability. We want highly reliable players. Although I will consider medium reliability players, I want to stay away from low reliability and low consistency players. So those are the columns we're looking at. And you can see here that Todd Gurley is a guy that just hits all. He checks all the boxes, right? #1 value, 4 out of 5 stars for the Outlook, 10 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. That's a great player, and I'm totally happy to get him. Now, you can see here that these tabs popped up. This is draft mode, and this represents each round of the draft. Now, because we're on the horn of the draft, we get we get to pick 2 players at our next choice. So all you got to do is just click on the tab, and what that's going to do is it's going to show you all the players that are available between our 2nd and 3rd pick and our 4th and 5th pick. All right, but instead of sorted by their draft position, they're sorted by their value. So the highest value players are going to be at the top of the list, making it very easy to narrow down who you should target. And you can see here that the #1 value player for us in the 2nd round is going to be Devonta Freeman. Now, his expected draft position is 22, so he may or may not be available when it gets to us at pick 24. So right below him, you can see we have Royce Freeman as the number 21. His value ranking is 21st, but you can see here his draft position is 43rd, right? But when you look at what picks we get, after this, our next pick is 48, right? It's the 48th pick. So Royce Freeman will be gone. If we want him, we should take him with probably our 3rd pick. All right. So I totally like taking Royce Freeman with our next pick. You can see here you've got Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, and the highest ranked wide receiver for us is Mike Evans. So you could see here that he offers fair value, right? His value is about the same as his expected draft position. 4 out of 5 stars, 8 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. That's totally who we want. So if I had to pick, I would go, Mike Evans is good. Let's see, another wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton. Also, I'm very confident with T.Y. Hilton with Andrew Luck being back. He also fair value, 4 out of 5 stars, 9 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. So either Mike Evans or T.Y. Hilton would be great for running backs. Devonta Freeman, of course, if he makes it. Royce Freeman I like as well. I think those should be our targets for our second and third pick. So coming back here to the draft board, you can see we're still a ways away from my pick. So I'm going to pause the video until we get within 3 picks, and then we'll see who's available. All right, we are moving along right now, and it looks like Devonta Freeman did get taken. That's not surprising. But we still have our guys queued up here. And I always like to see, if there's anybody that's left behind. And look, we've got some potentials. These guys will probably be gone. Adam Thielen is interesting as he didn't show up on our list, but that's because I think he was supposed to go in the first round. Nope, we're on the clock. Okay, so if we look, you could see here that you got, let's see who's even available, right? Thielen, Gronkowski, these guys, I see a big letdown for Thielen this year. He's not going to do what he did last year. Gronkowski is a great player, but he's not the tight end I want this year. You can see Mike Evans is sitting here right at the top of the list, so let's go ahead and take Mike Evans with our first pick. And we talked about taking Royce Freeman, and we will go ahead and draft him next. I think that's a very nice trio to start out with. Gurley, Freeman, and Evans. I do very much like that. So now that we made our second round pick, we can go back to our list to the fourth and fifth round and see who's available. So you can see here for the fourth and fifth round, the top value player of this round is Marshawn Lynch. That's kind of surprising, but this is standard points. He offers great value relative to his draft position. It is a contract year for him, although for players of that age, not really as big a deal as it is with other players. But he does have a 5-star outlook, 5 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. My biggest issue with Marshawn Lynch would be the fact that he is over the age of 28. I just don't like to take running backs that are that old. Despite how great he is, I would have loved to have him, 5 years ago, but I'm just not interested in taking a player of that age. So let's look down the list and see what else we can find. Well, we've got Marvin Jones as the next player on the list. 5-star outlook, wide receiver from Detroit. 4 out of 10 consistency isn't great, but he does have high reliability. That, I think, would be a really good choice for our second wide receiver. He will certainly get the volume on that offense, and that's what I like to see. Next down is Lamar Miller, who, again, not an exciting player, but let's face facts, man. Lamar Miller is the running back on that team. He's the only guy. D'Onta Foreman is the only other competition for that position, and I'm guessing D'Onta Foreman is going to open the season on PUP, and we're not going to see him until November at the very earliest. He is still recovering from that Achilles injury. I'm not worried about Lamar Miller being supplanted, and Lamar Miller was great when the quarterback, whose name I'm just totally drawing a blank on right now, I'm sorry, I apologize that I'm totally drawing a blank on this, but I do like the idea of taking Lamar Miller as our third running back. To have him in the flex position, I think it would be great. 5-star outlook, 8 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. That's what you want, and his value is great, relative to his draft position. Now, we also have another option here. This is actually be a great option. We're looking at third running backs, right? Mark Ingram. The guy's on suspension for the first 4 games, but once he comes back, man, the guy's an RB1, right? I really like the idea of taking Mark Ingram with one of our next picks. You can see here there's some quarterbacks coming off the board in the next round. Chris Hogan, I think, would be a very nice choice for a wide receiver. He offers fair value, 5 stars, 9 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. There's a good one. Oh, Deshaun Watson. There's the quarterback for Lamar Miller. Yeah, Deshaun Watson. Like I said, he was great. Lamar Miller was great with Deshaun Watson. So I feeling confident Deshaun Watson's back. I think Lamar Miller is going to be good, and we would get him for all 16 games as opposed to just 12 games, right? Let's see here. Is there any other options here? Now, as far as tight ends, I don't want to take a tight end this early, but we got Greg Olsen down here. And down here, you can also see here's guys that are offering poor value. Kerryon Johnson, Marquise Goodwin, Rex Burkhead. All these guys are overvalued relative to their draft position, and they're really the kind of players that you should just stay away from. So I think we got our choices laid out. I think I'm going to go Mark Ingram as my first choice, Lamar Miller second, Marshawn Lynch third, and then for wide receivers, I think I got to go with the consistency of Chris Hogan. Plus, I like the fact that he's basically the number 2 wide receiver behind Gronk on that team for the first 4 games. So let's go Hogan first, Marvin Jones second, and I can see here that we still have a few more picks. I'm just going to pause until we're within 3. Oh, sorry about that. I got caught a little bit off guard. The picks went really fast there, and it came back to me all of a sudden. So, I always like to see if there's any guys that I want to that I want to take. Josh Gordon is just not a guy I'm really interested in. There's Lamar Miller. We talked about him. Jarvis Landry, another guy I'm not really interested in because he changed teams in the offseason. So I think we should go with our original plan. So let's go ahead. Let's grab Ingram.
Your team is now on the clock.
And Marvin Jones is still there, but I got to say I like the consistency of Hogan. From a fantasy standpoint, so to take him as our second, I think is a great option. So we've got Gurley, Freeman, and Ingram as our running backs. We got Evans and Hogan as our wide receivers. That's a nice core. So let's go to the next round. Let's kind of see what's happening as far as tight ends go. Let's see if there's any good tight ends in this round. Boy, not much, is there? Okay. We can look at that because I think we're filtering out some. Some quality, some tight ends that will do. But I think we should definitely spend one of our picks on a tight end before all the TE1s are gone, right? But we can look here for the 6th and 7th round. The top value player for us would be Tevin Coleman, who's on a contract year, has seen a nice uptick in his usage over the past 3 seasons, 5-star outlook, 6 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. So he's a good choice. I do like him. Funches, you also got Funches here with who's also on a contract year, although I got to say I would rather have Olsen just because Olsen is the number 1 receiver on that offense. So I don't know if I would want to take him. We got Robert Woods next, who, again, all these guys are offering really good value. Robert Woods has got an 8 out of 10 consistency, high medium reliability. What about running backs? What running backs besides Tevin Coleman? Oh, it's just Tevin Coleman and Chris Carson. Okay, so and you can see Chris Carson offers terrible value at this location. 1-star outlook, low reliability. This is like just not the guy you want. I mean, maybe if he falls, I would consider him, but in the 6th or 7th round, you don't want guys like that, right? Take a chance on the guys in the middle rounds, not in the early rounds. We want solid performers that are reliable and consistent. That's what we want. So Tevin would be a great choice. Tevin would be our fourth running back, but he would basically be our flex option for the first 4 weeks of the season while Ingram is serving the suspension. I think that'd be a great choice. So maybe we go Tevin Coleman and a tight end. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to release the filters. You can see we have Jimmy's recommended filters here. So I'm going to release that because it's taking out too many tight ends. So let's look here, and we can see, okay, so there are some other options, but, I see why they were not there. They're all dealing with an injury, right? Delaney Walker, Jordan Reed, Kyle Rudolph. That's the reason why they were filtered out. I mean, if Delaney Walker wasn't nursing that toe injury, I would love to take him. Boy, this is a tough one. You know what? I think we can wait on tight ends because I think what we should do is either get Doyle or Charles Clay would be a late round flyer. I think Doyle would be good. Maybe Trey Burton as a possibility, but I don't know. We'll see who's available, and then we'll go with a selection there. So, we do have some options here, and I'm going to go and I'm going to re-engage that filter. Just because now I understand why it wasn't showing us any. Why aren't you showing us any tight ends? Oh, they're all injured. Okay, and one of the filters I applied is the injury filter. So we will just let it go ahead with that. And I see we are still a ways away from our next pick, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause until we're within 3. All right, we're back, and so we're just closing, and I'm just looking. I like to look at the list to see who is. Who's still available, and no one here has really blown me away. I mean, as far as, Alshon Jeffrey's injured, Crabtree, I hate, Emmanuel Sanders, too old, Kerryon Johnson. Remember how he didn't have a great value? I would only take him if he's available at around pick 100, and I don't think he's going to last that long. But you can see my options are still available up here. We got Tevin Coleman, Devin Funchess, and Trey Burton, who I looked up, who we would definitely want to take this round. All right, so we talked about getting a tight end. I do like the idea of taking Tevin Coleman as our 4th running back, so I think that's a great option. And we will go ahead and we'll take Trey Burton as our tight end. And so not bad, actually. I'm really liking this team. It's really going well. So let's jump to the 8th and 9th round, and let's see who's available. So you can see here that the quality of players is starting to thin out, man. Look at this. I mean, not great options at this point in the draft. We've got, Cooper Kupp is certainly offering the best value at this point in the draft. I think he'd be a great choice as our 3rd wide receiver. I think we should also start looking at quarterbacks. So if we look at quarterbacks on this round, we got Matt Ryan, Marcus Mariota, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff. We got some good options here. I would love to take Mahomes. I just think he's got so much upside. I mean, you got to go with that arm, man. I mean, especially if your team gives bonuses for long completions. I'd like taking a chance, rolling the dice, and go with Mahomes. And when you're because we're taking a QB probably with our 9th pick. If he doesn't work out, which I'm not worried about, he's got great talent around him. We can always just go and start streaming quarterbacks. That's always a good option. Mariota's another good choice. I like him. His contract year expires at the end of next season, but with quarterbacks, that means this is the year that he's playing for his next contract. And you've got these blockbuster contracts like the one that Aaron Rodgers just signed. And let me tell you what, Marcus Mariota is seeing that numbers. He's seeing that $33 million a year. He's like, he is saying to himself, I've got to prove that I am worth more than $33 million a year with what I do this season. That's a great player to have. That's why I love contract year players. And actually, on the list, you've seen the gold dollars and the silver dollars. Gold dollar means it's a contract year at the end of this season. Silver dollar means a contract year at the end of next season. And so look for those players. Get those players. Those are the guys that do great. Gurley, he just signed that monster contract, right? Last year, he was a silver dollar player because his contract expired at the end of this season. Contract ended at the end of 2018. So he played like hell in 2017. He got paid. Do you see that all the time? All the time. So those are my favorite kind of players to pick. So we'll see what quarterbacks are still available. But as far as a second choice, Cooper Kupp I think would be a great choice. Pierre Garçon I don't like because of his age. Randall Cobb, I would stay away from him just because I'm thinking he's going to be a last-minute trade to another team, and so I don't like that at all. You got Ronald Jones, who has just had a terrible camp. And we really don't need another running back right now. So you see defenses are coming off the board here. So, we've got a couple of okay options, and like I said, we're getting up that the value doesn't matter as much. But I love the idea of getting Cooper Kupp. Hopefully, knock on wood, he's still available. It's almost our next pick, so this draft is starting to move quicker now. So let me just see where he is. Did he get taken? Oh, he was already taken. That's a bummer. Okay, what about who else were we looking at? Oh man, I'm just not liking a lot of these wide receivers. Let's just do the filter and see who's there. Not great options at all. I don't think we need to take a wide receiver this round. As far as running backs goes, we could maybe take a Peyton Barber. I think that'd be a nice choice. He's doing way better than Ronald Jones is right now. We got Tariq Cohen. You know what? I like Tariq Cohen. Maybe we should go with that. And some of these other guys, not really thrilling me here. So it's almost our pick. Let's see what quarterbacks are still on the board. Okay. Oh, we got some great options. Okay. There's Mahomes. Andrew Luck is a top 5 wide receiver. Top 5 quarterback. I wouldn't mind taking Luck. Let's just go with Luck. He can play, and I have confidence that that shoulder is good. Remember Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning had that neck surgery, man. They said he was never going to play again, and then he came back, and then he threw for 55 touchdowns. That's the kind of thing. Andrew Luck is a top 5 quarterback when he's healthy. He's healthy, so let's just take him. He's got that injury risk discount going on. And like I said, if he doesn't work out, if he gets injured, whatever, we'll just stream. It's fine. There's always decent quarterbacks to be picked up off the waiver wire. Last year there was a ton. Alex Smith, not Cooper Kupp, excuse me, Jared Goff. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll take Andrew Luck.
Your team is now on the clock.
And let's see here. Who else were we looking at? Cooper Kupp was already taken. Come on, let's go back. Show me all the players. So we were talking maybe Peyton Barber. Let's look for him. I'm sure he's available. Oh, let's see if there's anyone here that really interests us. Oh, there's Tariq. Shoot, we'll take Tariq. I'll take him. Okay, cool. So we are just moving along here, and let's jump to our next set of rounds, 10th and 11th rounds. We got our whole core together now, so now we're just going to load up on our bench, wide receivers, running backs. That's what we want, and we definitely need some wide receivers because we've got 5 running backs. I think we only got 2 receivers still, so let's load up on receivers. And you can see the top value player for the next round is going to be Kelvin Benjamin, contract year. Now, Kelvin Benjamin has a list of problems a mile long, right? But this dude is the number 1 wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. They have no depth in that position. He is basically it as far as receiving options goes. Look at the value he's offering relative to his draft position, right? Now, his outlook is terrible. His consistency is terrible. His reliability is low. All right, I want you to ignore all that. Let's look at the value. I mean, we're talking the 10th and 11th round pick. If these guys don't work out, it's not really going to hurt our team, but I think the upside is considerable. Next up here, Kenny Stills, also fantastic value, 4-star rating, high reliability, low consistency. But you know what? I love getting these 2 guys. Let's grab them. We'll beef up our wide receiver core. We still got Randall Cobb sitting here. He may or may not be available. You remember he showed up on the list here. When you see him show up on 2 consecutive rounds, that means he's right on the cusp of our next pick. So the chances of him still being available are slim, probably 50-50 or less. So, again, if he was desirable, I'd want to take him, but I don't like his situation right now. And we got some other guys. These are, again, a lot of scrubs, right? Galladay, Algahor, Shirley Shepard might be a decent option. I do like that offense. Keelan Cole just got a nice bump up because of the injury to Marquise Lee, but his value isn't great. I mean, he's just not offering that much. So I think Benjamin and Still should be our picks for the next round. So I will just pause until we're within 3, and let's go get those guys. All right, these rounds are going very quickly now because you can see mostly on auto pick right now. So I can see that both these guys are still available. Let's see if there's anyone else here who is particularly interesting to us. Chris Carson at this point in the draft, I very much like. Sammy Watkins is still sitting here. Are you kidding me? Robbie Anderson, wow. There actually is some guys here that should not still be available, but yet they still are. But I do like the idea of going with our initial plan. We're going to take the value in this round. We're going to go with Kelvin Benjamin, and we're going to go with Kenny Stills. So that gives us our 3rd and 4th wide receiver. I think that's a great pair. Again, the value on both those guys was tremendous. So I do like that. And we'll just move on to the next round. Let's go 12th and 13th round. Boy, not a lot of great choices for wide receivers. Bunch of one-star guys. Yeah, look at this. All one-star players. A lot of injured players. We don't want to deal. I just don't want to deal with any injured players during the draft. You know, the only time you can control injuries is during the draft. It's the only time during the fantasy season that you can control it. So why draft injured players? I just don't want to deal with it. But let's see here. We've got some quarterbacks. We got defenses coming, a bunch of defenses coming off the board, and boy, there's just not a lot of great options here. So I think maybe for this next set of rounds, what we need to look at is we need to look at high upside rookies. You know, guys that aren't getting a lot of love. Let's see here, like Jordan Wilkins. He's having a great camp. Marlon Mack is injured. Again, he doesn't offer great value based on what they're projecting him to get, but if Marlon Mack is injured and can't get on the field, Jordan Wilkins is playing like the best running back on that team, so he's going to get used. So I think that would be a good choice. How about for wide receivers? We got any interesting rookies or new guys coming on here? Not fantastic options. We do have some value if we took Rashard Matthews, who just got that contract extension. He's like still injured, but he's coming off of the injury. I think he might be a good choice to take. And if a lot of these guys didn't have these injury designations, they'd be much more highly rated on their outlook. But because I put a huge discount on the outlook when they're injured, so I think those might be our best choices. I'm really not interested in taking a defense. I'm going to wait till the end for a defense, and we got all of our other positions filled. So let's just pause here, and we can also see what's available once it comes to our pick. So, all right, so it came back to us very, very quickly. So unfortunately, Rashard Matthews got drafted, so we missed out on him, but I do see some interesting options. The first one I'm going to take is Aaron Jones, who's serving a 2-game suspension, but he was the best wide receiver on that team last year. Ty Montgomery can't stay healthy. Jamal Williams isn't the answer. So let's go ahead. We'll take Aaron Jones with our first pick. And then as far as wide receivers go, Tyler Lockett, I think he's a good choice. Allen Hurns could be a decent choice. Oh, look, here's a rookie that's getting some buzz, Anthony Miller. He's had a really good camp. Let's go ahead and take him. So that looks good. And then how many more slots do we have to fill on our team? I think we pretty much got the whole bench. Yeah, the bench is full now. So all we need is our kicker and defense. So I'm going to just pause till we get to our final picks, and we'll review the team. And I think this team turned out pretty darn awesome. I very much like this team. Let's see how it ends up. All right, just about back to our pick. All right, so we got a couple of great options for our defenses. The Saints have a great Week 1 matchup against Tampa Bay, where Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be the quarterback because Jameis Winston's suspended. Detroit Lions are playing the Jets, who are going to start their rookie quarterback in Week 1. So lots of opportunity for picks and sacks there. Pittsburgh Steelers looking really good this season. I think I got to go with the Steelers. Of course, they're playing the Browns. So let's just take them as our defense. And as far as kickers go, look at that right at the top, a guy I love taking, Matt Prater. I always try to find a kicker on a good offense, plays in a dome. There you go. Matt Prater is our team. So let's review, all right? So we've got Andrew Luck as our quarterback. Our running backs are Todd Gurley, Royce Freeman, Mark Ingram, Tevin Coleman, Tariq Cohen, Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones, okay, so that's a really nice core of running backs. I like that very much. For our wide receivers, we got Mike Evans, Chris Hogan. Let's see here. Kelvin Benjamin, Kenny Stills, and Anthony Miller. Again, very nice stable of wide receivers. Our tight end is Trey Burton. Our defense is the Steelers. Our kicker is Matt Prater. So all in all, I love it. I love this team. This is a great team. I'd love to take this into the game with me. And I also got to say, if you're drafted on NFL.com, this is a very minimalist architecture. It's not giving you a lot of information about these players. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't even give you like a news link. It doesn't tell you if they're injured. It doesn't tell you any of that stuff. So, again, use my app. Go to my website, ffmaverick.com. Try it out. Try out this app with the NFL.com mock drafts on a standard points league. Try it out. See what you think. And again, if you like it, subscribe. It doesn't cost that much. This can really change the game for you, really improve the draft, because the draft for me is just the most difficult part of the fantasy season. This app makes it easy, and I hope that this video showed you how. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And happy drafting, everybody. Have a great day.